Hey, welcome back. Simon Lees here again. I've got a guitar tip for you. I'm going to actually give you one of the dark arts, the secret of one of the dark arts of the lead guitarist. You know, when I was first learning to play the guitar, I'd only been playing for a short time, maybe 6 months, a year or something, and I became aware of this sound. And I thought, that sounds great, how do you do it? And I can't remember what happened, but I remember there's a good friend of mine got the hang of it a lot quicker than I did, which was massively frustrating. As he kept showing me how well he could do it, you know. But what it is, it's a type of a harmonic. I've mentioned harmonics already. I've done a little video on harmonics, and the harmonics that I've talked about so far are where you use one of your fingers on your left hand to touch the string very lightly, directly above a fret usually. You pluck the string and then you take your finger off, and then the string continues to ring out at a higher pitch than what you'd expect. Pinched harmonics, they're sometimes called artificial harmonics, which is a ridiculous name because there's nothing artificial about them. The harmonic is a harmonic, you know, it's it either is or it isn't. Much better to call them pinched harmonics, because that's kind of describes what you have to do to the string in order to get it. And the way the principle behind this, the easiest way to sort of explain how it works, is if I play the 14th fret on the G string, or if I put my finger on it, and what I want to do is find the halfway point between the 14th fret, which is there. So if I zoom in, so that's the fret that I'm interested in, just where my fingertip is. So that's where I put my finger. So it presses a string against the 14th fret. So I want to find the halfway point between that and where the string passes over the bridge. So the halfway point, just using my eyes, is round about there. You know, so let's just check. Cool. Now, if you just pick the string there, you'll just get the standard sort of note, you know. So to make that into a harmonic, what I have to do, and this is the genius bit, this is, I imagine whoever came up with this probably did it accidentally and then thought, oh, that's good. And the way it works, you have to hold your pick in such a way that you've barely got any plectrum sticking out. This is a good practice anyway, you know, whether you're doing harmonics or not. So you can see, you know, I haven't got sort of that much sticking out. You can barely see it, you know, it's just the tiniest bit sticking out the side of my thumb. That's important because as I pick the string, I want to be able to use the skin on the side of my thumb directly above where the plectrum is, to brush past the string and to sort of follow through as I pick the string. So what's happening is, as I pick the string, I'm not sure if I swap this plectrum for one that you might be able to see. So again, I've only got a tiny little bit sticking out there. So back on the 14th fret, and as I see if I can get this so you can see it. Quite difficult to sort of play and show you at the same time, but I say, as I pick the string, you can see my thumb is extremely close to the string, and so as I pick the string, I'm actually pushing the string downwards. I don't know if I can zoom in any more, or maybe bring the camera a little bit closer, because I really want you to see what's happening here. I'm actually pushing the string downwards so that it deflects, you know. You don't have to put this much effort, this much weight on the string, but if you do, what happens is at a certain point, the string will just kind of pop out. You know, you don't want to break the string, obviously, so you just want to allow the string to pop out. And as it pops out, it springs back. And somewhere between springing back and getting to its original position, so it's parallel with all the other strings, it just catches the edge of my thumb. So I'll say, try and show you that best I can. It's very difficult. Cool. So that's how you pinch the string. And I say you've got to get it, for it to work. It's got to be in exactly the right place. So I say it needs to be for this harmonic. It needs to be halfway between the fret that you're pressing the string against and where the string passes over the saddle. So it's exactly halfway. Now, I can use the same technique and the same note to create a different harmonic. To do that, I need to find the position which is about a third of the way between the fret and the saddle. So I'm going to guess it's around about here somewhere. So I'm using the same technique, you know, just and I'm getting a different note, so it's like a higher pitch. Now I can get another note if I pick the string a quarter of the way between where the string passes over the bridge and the fret that I'm pressing the string against. It's more difficult. It's more difficult to get it kind of clean. But there it is. So it's if I carry on, I can find the position along the string that's about a fifth of the way between those 2 points. So that's a sixth, that's a fifth, that's a quarter, that's a third, and that's half. So those are the ways I'm dividing the string. Now, what you'll find gets the best effect when you're doing these pinched harmonics is if you've got a decent amount of string between where your finger is and the end of the string. That means there's more string to vibrate. The string's going to have more momentum, if you like, but you can still get the same kind of variety of notes. You can still get some really high-pitched notes, even if your left hand is right down the bottom of the neck. And this is where I've been accused of miming before now, and you'll see guys sitting down watching, saying, "Oh, he's obviously not playing that because you can tell he's playing a high note, but his hand's down there, so he can't be playing it." Well, guess what? Yeah, you know, and that works because, again, I'm dividing I'm thinking of the string divided up into sections. So if I was to pick halfway along that string between where I'm pressing which fret I'm pressing the string against and the end of the saddle, that would be the 14th fret. Bit awkward to pick this string because the neck's in the way, but it works. If I halve that again, that's going to be around about here. And it said that's a nice. It's got more sustain. If I play the 14th fret, if I put my finger on the 14th fret and do the same, I could pick it in the same place, get exactly the same note, but the note dies a bit quicker. You know, it's like when I'm playing on the 2nd fret, there's more, the string's longer. You know, it's got more weight. It's got more momentum. It gives you more sustain. So it's a better way of doing it, really. That was a great one. That's probably my favourite harmonic on the whole guitar, that one. Just love the sound of that one. There's a song by Dokken called Night by Night, and in the second verse, George Lynch plays that harmonic. It might be a B. Yeah, love it. It's I don't know. It's just one of those sounds that sort of sends shivers down your spine, you know. If you're a fan of Zakk Wylde, the way he plays these harmonics is like kind of Tourette's, you know. He just can't help himself, and a lot of the harmonics that Zakk plays are on the fatter strings. You know, he'll sort of do them on the fatter E string. Fail. Yeah, try that again. You've got to be quite light, but the fat E is a good one to do it on because it's fat. You know, it's got a bit of weight, and when you get it right. And so the A string works quite well for the same reason, you know. You know, especially when you detune it, you can sort of bend the string lows, you know. So one of my all-time favourite guitarists, J.K. Lee, one of Ozzy's other guitar players, that's what one of his riffs, a song called High Wire. These pinched harmonics, you can kind of tailor them so that you get a mixture of the harmonic and the actual note, the normal note, you know. And sometimes that sounds even better. So you can tell what the note is, but you're pinching the string so that it gives it just an extra quality, you know, a different sort of quality to the note. Billy Gibbons is another one who's famous for doing pinched harmonics. Yeah, I was trying to think who else is known for doing it. I mean, most rock guitarists at some point or other will do it. Van Halen, you know, I mean, he leaves no technique, no stone is unturned as far as techniques go with Van Halen, which is great, you know. And I like that because it shows that these guys, they're using the guitar to the absolute maximum. They're not just playing stuff that you could also play on a piano or something like that. You know, it's what makes it's these techniques that make the guitar unique. You know, and it's great. It's not something you've got to do all the time. You haven't got to be like Zakk Wylde, but it's just nice to have it there in your palette. You know, so it's just another way you can sort of be creative and. You know, personalise whatever tune it is that you're playing. You know, and you're saying that there's lots of different ways of playing the harmonics. You can do them your way. But yeah, these pinched harmonics. I say just to summarise. Once you try and find the point along the string that you know is going to work. One way of finding the point, and they're called node points. That's N-O-D-E, node. Classical guitarists do it this way. They'll sort of use their index finger to touch the string lightly, as you would do if you were playing a standard sort of harmonic. But they'll put their index finger lightly onto the string on the node point, and then use the second finger to actually pluck the string. And that way you can kind of pinpoint where the string is without worrying whether you've got your technique right or not with the plectrum. You find there's a little window of opportunity. There's like a couple of millimeters either side that will still allow you to get the harmonic, but there's a point smack in the middle where the harmonic really kind of sings and it rings out, you know. So that's what you're trying to aim for. Once you've found it, get your plectrum, push the string, use your plectrum to push the string down so it actually deflects. So if I zoom in again, you want to actually deflect the string. When it goes as tight as you want it to go, you know, you get an idea. You don't want to push it all the way to where the B string is. Let it pop out. As it pops out, just let the string brush past the skin on your finger that's directly above the point of the plectrum. Don't let your skin touch the string for more than a fraction of a split second. It's got to be the lighter touch that your skin has with a string, the lighter contact, the better. The sharper sound you'll get. You know, if you're too heavy-handed, you'll dampen the string and you won't get anything. So that's the secret. You know, try and keep it as light as possible, and then just take your thumb away from the string. You know, I sort of finish with my thumb probably about, I don't know, 2 or 3 millimeters away from the string. So when I say take it away, I don't mean kind of come all the way out, you know, because you've got to come back then to play the next note. So that's it. That's something which took me a while to get the hang of. I didn't have anybody to explain it to me in this kind of detail, so hopefully you won't have too much difficulty getting it. So that's this week's top tip: how to play pinched harmonics, not artificial harmonics. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.